Hey guys, I'm just getting my Instagram ready over here. Okay, hi my loves, Molly here. Fiercely devoted to your freedom. So excited about the weather today. Can we discuss? Here in the East Coast was like so warm, and I'm wearing a dress, which is just about my very favorite thing to do. JoJo's here, Crystal. I'm so glad you're here. Sam, my beloved Amy, JoJo. Hi guys, Karen. Uh, so nice today. Ted has 2 weeks. Isn't this so exciting? Foreman's here. So, hi Molly. So good to see you. Hi Beth. Hi gang. Thanks Emily. I gotta tell you guys, and this is, I have to say, Leah, I don't know, for those of you who struggle with weight, not everybody struggles with weight when they struggle with food and weight, but gosh, one of the beautiful miracles of breaking up with sugar for me is the ability to only have like one size clothing. And oh, thank you, Susie. I don't know if you guys saw that Sugar Summit today. I forget how the interview was, but I had such beautiful feedback, and also maybe even more. Hey, Amanda. Maybe even more important than that is we got so many new group members from it. And if you are not in the Breaking Up with Sugar group, I do not know what you're doing. Rosemary, you got 2 days. Rosemary got 2 days. Rosemary got 2 days. That's so incredibly exciting, babe. Get it. Rosemary, are you in the Breaking Up with Sugar group? Get in it if you're not. Incredible. So, well, anyway, I'll finish this thought and then I'll get into what I wanted to talk about today. Because they're actually, so anyway, for me, one of the amazing miracles. Oh, Crystal, that's so nice. One of the most amazing miracles of this is being like one size, and just like, there's not a day in my life where I am not so grateful for this body that I live in. And we could talk about body acceptance and body love for like 12 years. If you want to know my like quick and dirty on body love, thank you, Brenda. If you want to know my quick and dirty on body love, though, right? It's really, really hard to love your body when you're harming your body. So, side note, break up with sugar and start doing loving, everything. I think everything's in action, me. But when I think about the idea of just like throwing on a dress like I did today, and just it fitting, and my thighs not rubbing together and all of that, it is just like the greatest miracle of this thing for me is really having that kind of the physical recovery that comes with it, and like the consistency, you know what I mean? Like, not all the sizes everywhere. It's just like one size, we good, move on. So no more drama. Hi Anna. So here's something I really wanted to talk about today. This is actually this is like a close the kitchen essential conversation, my love. So get your pen and paper ready, get your mind open. I don't know if anybody read Breaking Up with Sugar, but it's like there's 2 things I talk about before I talk about food, right? And the first one is the sacred vow, right? Like, you gotta stay the course in the relationship. Like, there's no cutting and running. And then, like, before I talk around the next set of vows, the first vow you have to take is to have an open mind. And that it's so important, an open mind, right? Because it's like when you have the kind of diet drama and trauma that we all come with, and we all come, I mean, or at least you're like me, like we come with some trauma. It's like, it makes it so easy when you hear something that feels uncomfortable to you, for you to be like, no, it's fine, I got it. No, like that, maybe that would work for you, but not for me. Oh yeah, like I understand what you're saying, but like I don't think I can do that. Like that's always what comes up. It's funny, I'm in a book club and we're reading this book. It's a great book. Gosh, I would tell everybody in the world to read it. It's so fabulous. It's so dense. It's called The Big Leap, and it's a book about how we sabotage ourselves. It's fascinating. And as I'm reading this book over and over, and I'm reading it pretty thoroughly because I'm in a book club about it, the parts that I balk at, like there's parts of the book where I'm like, oh God, that's not me. Like I know at this point that I'm like, okay, stop here. It's almost more likely that it applies to me in that book when I'm like, oh yeah, not me. That hand gesture is so toxic, my loves. That hand gesture is you closing your mind. Keep your eyes on it. So important. That's what I want to talk about tonight. Here's what I want to talk about tonight. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people. Oh, Amy, you did read it. I remember that happened. So, so maybe a lot of people like talking about not being able to find some traction in their relationship with food. And here's what I really want to say. We talked about it a little bit last night, but I really want to talk about the setup of this whole thing. Because if I was trying to give up alcohol in a house full of bottles and people drinking, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. And it's like I love this idea of, I talked about it last night even when I was so tired. And you guys were all like so beautiful to me, right? You guys were like, oh my God, take care of you, Molly. You give us so much, which I love you for. You give us so much. Go take care of yourself. Go take care of yourself. And you know what I've learned through the years is, and I write this down. This is from my teacher, Tara Brache. I like to reference who I'm talking about. But here's, the greatest gift that you give to others is your full presence. The greatest gift that you give to others is your full presence. So the greatest gift that you give to others is not making them brownies when that's trigger food for you, right? The greatest gift that you give others is not bringing high sugar, highly desirable foods into your house because your kids really love it and you can handle it. Not in the first 66 days at least, right? The greatest gift you give others is not taking a bite of like your husband's, I don't know, oatmeal squares that are full of sugar because like you don't want to upset him. The greatest gift you give others is your full presence. And your greatest gift you give others is you being the best version of yourself. And in the beginning of this relationship with sugar, and I probably should write my second book about this, I swear. A lot of that is about saying no and is about like redoing the way that you do your life, right? And in the Facebook group, somebody was talking about how like she's really having a hard time doing traction and wants to support her kids' cooking habit, baking habit. And I responded, if you were there, like, I don't know if those two things coexist in the beginning. I'm not quite sure if my kids wanted me to bake with them. I think I could do it. I don't think it would be helpful. I don't think it would be easy. I don't think it is. I think, by the way, and that's not a function of strength. I mean, just go read There's a woman on Facebook. Well, she's everywhere, but she's on Facebook big time. Her name is Joan Ilfland. I'm sure she was in the Sugar Summit, by the way. She is like, man, that woman has like every bit of research down on like all the triggers, and she talks about this so much. And I really want you to understand this. Like, we are highly sensitized. We are highly easily triggered, even after time. Right? That's just like the way that the food industry's made it. It's the way the food industry's made the food. It's the way that marketing has made things. And, you smell things, you see things. It's like the trigger points for food are so incredible. And so I really want you to be thinking about setting yourself up for success. And I think I told you guys this story, but I'm not sure. But last weekend in my house, if I did, can you let me know? Because I don't like to repeat stories, but maybe it's meant to be repeated. But last weekend in my house, my brothers made like 2 oat bakes, and I don't know about you, but truly like, hi Brenna, granola, oatmeal, those kind of oat things. Like, I'd rather have an oatmeal cookie than have chocolate. Like, oat is my like granola is my gateway drug. Do you know what I mean? And so they were making all these oats, and they were saying things to me like lovingly, like, no, like, there's only like a little bit of sugar in it. Like, you should totally try it. And oh my God, my brain was like, I am in love with this food. Because also, I can, like, when we rationalize, rational lies. So I started, but something came, like, I had some time away from it, and I was like, Molly, this is not your food. I want to tell you something. I think this is true. I'm not sure this is true. I am pretty sure, I really want you to hear, if you're struggling with getting this, I really want you to hear the story, because I have 11 years without sugar and flour. So I am pretty sure that if I had stayed in that kitchen, if I had been in and out of the kitchen all day, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as I said in the Facebook post, as they say in the 12-step rooms, they have a wonderful phrase, and it says, if you stay around the barber shop long enough, you are bound to get a haircut. And like, you know, if I would have stayed around the kitchen, little fork here, you know, I knew enough. Like, that was dangerous to me. And you guys, like, we're talking about an oat bake. I mean, I'm not like cooking brownies with people. And I was like, okay, not my food, not my food. I spent most of the day outside of the kitchen. In my house, I don't know if it's like your house, like it's the center. The kitchen is the center post in my COVID house. I spent most of the time out of the kitchen. I got off the phone. I called somebody. I said, and I told them the exact story. And I said, there are oat bakes. It's like talking to me, and it's not my food. And I want to commit that to you. It's not my food. And I got through it, but like it wasn't easy. And I'm telling you, I have a lot of time away. Thank you, Colleen. Colleen, you're my favorite. And so I just want to say, like, I think at least in the beginning, if not forever, like, who knows? You never know when cravings are going to hit. You never know. But, like, it's a beautiful thing to be gentle about them and kind about them, right? Yes, Melissa Bates for the win. Melissa Bates says, our danger lies in the tiny details. That's really beautiful. But also, our danger lies in what I would say is the arrogance of thinking that we can be like prepping sugar with ease. Like, if I had to be in that kitchen all day, I think I could have, but oh my goodness, I would have had to be so skillful. And so, you know, and somebody, I think the Facebook group really talks beautifully about this, because they're always like, yeah, like I couldn't do this, or I took this out, or if I asked my family not to have the sugar in my house, like they wouldn't have heroin in the house, like things like that. And one size doesn't fit all. You got to do what works for you. But if you're thinking that it's a loving choice to be around all these foods, binging on them or overeating them, and thinking that that's a gift to the family or to the world, is my opinion. I mean, think about if you've really gotten some time, even if you get the 2 or 3 days, you can already see the difference in your personality, the difference in your openness, the difference in everything, right? So I want you to think about that. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is set boundaries on these things. And the most loving thing we can do is say no. And the most loving thing we can do is like ask our families to not do something or use skills around it. It's like having some humility around the idea that it might be hard to be around sugar and that you might not be able to do it in the beginning, or even on year 10.75. You know what I mean? We need to love ourselves first. Exactly, Zach. Like, we need to love ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves first, because that's the gift that we give to others, is that when we are full and whole and not distracted and not in the shame that comes a lot of time, and not in the demoralization and not in the hopelessness, you got to understand what a gift you give. So sometimes there's this great idea in business school, right? They say when you say yes to something, you say no to something else, right? And I think the opposite is true. You know, when we're saying no, when we're setting limits, and we're, you know, sometimes really taking care of ourselves, we're really saying yes to the people we love and the life that we have. I really want you to start to think about this. I might actually talk about it again tomorrow, even though Love Letter comes out. We're going to be talking about Love Letter tomorrow. So that's the skill I want you to think about. You know, it's like, what is a lot of times the most loving thing we can do is say no and set boundaries and do things really differently, you know, even though it might upset people, or even though it might seem a little dramatic, right? And then, you know, saying no means saying yes when it matters most, says my friend Anna. Anna has like 52 days of closing the kitchen and no binging. So anyway, my loves, that's what I have to tell you tonight. And I also have to tell you, I love you. And I also have to tell you that if you are committed to getting this, and if you are committed to doing it differently, right? If you're committed to getting this, someone once said, you know, and I write this in the book, you know, it's like writing with your left, it's like sometimes it's like learning to write with your left hand. Like, it's not common, it's not familiar, but it is yours for the taking. And I was reading this study somewhere that said, you know, that those people who get this really, you know, start to believe they can get it, put some faith in the world that you can get this. I believe in you. If you're not in this Facebook group and you're not connecting with others, like if you have a big connection circle, go on with your bad self. But if you're doing this alone, get in this Facebook group. Start talking. This tribe in this space is the most loving place I've ever been in my life. I like go there optionally. And sometimes I even have a cup of coffee with you guys in the morning. So anyway, my loves, let us close the kitchen. Let us close the kitchen. We put our hands on our hearts. We put our hands on our hearts for ourselves. And we put our hands on our hearts for our community. And we put our hands on our hearts for the community around us. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm not yet closing the kitchen. Can you believe it? I was in a book club that just went to right now. So I'm going to have dinner right after this, and then my kitchen is closed. Colleen, I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited that everybody's here. Thank you so much for the feedback on that Sugar Summit talk. Tell me, Amy's triple lock tonight. Good job, my love. I'm with you. Brenna's closed the kitchen. Molly's closing the kitchen. Lisa's closing the kitchen just now. Amazing. Colleen, day 6. Go for it, girl. Closing the kitchen. Anna, Sam, Karen, my love, closing the kitchen. Incredible. Karen, awesome, closing the kitchen. Karen Schimmel's closing the kitchen. Oakland's closing the kitchen. Rachel, you're incredible too. Thank you, honey. Susie's closing the kitchen. Roseanne, definitely closed. Felice is closing it. Crystal, day 10. I remember when you had one. That's incredible. Zach is closing the kitchen. Amanda. Bria, closing the kitchen. Leah's closing the kitchen. Day 13, we remember. Good job. Ted, going into week 3, closing the kitchen. Incredible. Emily's closed the kitchen. Brenda. Rosemary, we have closed the kitchen, my loves. And I will see you all tomorrow night. I love you. I'm devoted to you, and I'm rooting for you every minute of every day. So, if no one ever told you that they loved you today, I do. Have a good one.